Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to my video today. Before we get into any of the details of the video, I would really appreciate it if you went and gave this video a like and subscribe to the channel, and if you even like, you can comment too. And yeah, I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten from everyone who watches these videos and my channel. I'm trying to produce the best content that I can. Thank you so much in advance for that if you do that. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about my WRX. I have a 2015 Subaru WRX. I have owned it for about a year and a half now, and I purchased this car in October of 2018. It's now February 2020. I purchased the car with 120,000 miles on it. It now has 147,000 miles on it. And yes, you heard me right, 147. It's a 2015, so this is like a crazy high mileage 2015 car. I have full service records of everything before I bought it. There was nothing out of the ordinary. There was literally just, yeah, brakes, oil, and then the clutch had just been replaced when I bought the car. I've separated my video into 3 different categories. So we're going to speak about the first one, performance. We're going to speak about maintenance, and we're going to speak about, I'll just call it failure for the sake of how I feel about it. The things that have broken and gone wrong in the last year and a half of me owning this car. So obviously the first category is performance, and this is the most exciting category. This is why anyone buys a Subaru or a WRX, maybe not a Subaru, but why anyone would buy a WRX is because you want to have fun with it, right? You want to put stuff on it, you want to put that downpipe on there, you want to put that exhaust on there and that intake, you want to get that E-tune or that Pro Tune, and you want to just have some fun with it, right? Yeah, so let's start with the first category, performance. These are the things that I have done to this car. At the end I'm going to go ahead and add them up to make sure I have an accurate number, but these are the numbers on the stuff that I've actually purchased for this car. Now I'll give you a disclaimer before we start. Some of the stuff I was given for Christmas, or kind of like for my birthday, or for kind of like, I didn't actually pay out of pocket for all of this. Now a lot of it I did, but yeah, so it's not a lot, honestly. The biggest mod that I have is kind of the foundation of any form of modding in the Subaru world, the WRX and STI world, and that is the access port. So I bought a used access port on Craigslist. I paid $400 for this thing, which is a pretty dang good deal if you ask me, especially from watching them, how much they still go for now. I see them consistently between $450 and $550. So the fact that I got one for $400, I feel pretty good about. If you're familiar with my channel and you've seen it in my other videos. So, right out of the gate, access port, $400. The next thing that I purchased is I purchased the holder for my access port. If you've seen it in my other videos, it sits in the vent. It's through SubiSpeed, who I love. Shout out SubiSpeed. It's their cover, or their holder, that sits in the vent up next to the windshield, and I absolutely love it. I've really compared to a lot of access port holders that are kind of like down low, or they kind of are like sticky mounts on the windshield, or they're like swinging around when you're driving. This thing is awesome. It's clean, it's simple, it's literally right in the dashboard, right on the top of the vent. So I paid $40 for that. Yeah, it looks like a lot, but it was a gift, so you know, might as well splurge a little bit. The next thing that I bought is my shift knob. This is kind of obviously not like a performance thing. It doesn't make my car go any faster, but it's driving. The feel of how when you drive is improved, so I would say it's a better performance. It's an M-Tech shift knob. I also purchased this through SubiSpeed, and I paid $89 for this shift knob. So it's like a tall and skinny one. It's not necessarily weighted too much, but you kind of compensate for that with leverage. So when you're driving, you go like clutch in, it's right here. So it's really nice. I've enjoyed it. So $89 for that. Now moving on to another software related thing for the access port. I recently purchased the MAP Performance Stage 1 tune off the shelf. I did a recent video reviewing that, talking about my experience with that, so go ahead and check that out. But also, I paid $80 for that. The next thing I would mention is my coilovers. I think I've mentioned it in another video, but I got a set of coilovers in this garage sale. This guy was getting rid of a bunch of stuff for $50. I actually got a set of muffler deletes and some Koni shocks and springs in the same sale, which is crazy, so all for $50. The shocks and springs didn't actually fit. The muffler deletes don't fit because they're for a WRX exhaust and I have an STI exhaust, so it's a whole nother thing, but they don't fit. So the only thing I was able to actually use is the coilovers, but $50 for a set of coilovers is still okay. Yes, they're Raceland, so they're not very good, and by no means do I recommend them. But they're kind of just like stand-ins in the middle until I get a better set of coilovers. They're kind of like just getting the job done. So $50 for coilovers. Next on my my performance list is not necessarily performance stuff, but just stuff that I've purchased for the car that I like, or that I wanted to make better aesthetically or something. So the next thing I bought is my front plate mount for my license plate. Goes into the tow hook, you just spin that sucker right in there and mount it on the side. That was 10 bucks. I bought a vortex generator on Amazon. That's on the back of my car. It's 40 bucks. I bought all-weather floor mats. No, they're not WeatherTech because those are real nice, but they are just like, oh no, they're actually Subaru OEM. I got them on Craigslist for 30 bucks, which is a great deal. And I bought the little front carbon fiber. It's real carbon fiber through Subi Speed again. Real carbon fiber, little WRX badge. Sometimes I look at it and think it's a little pricey, but overall I think it's cool. So I purchased that for $30, and then I also purchased the side, like matte black side badges, I guess the ones that replace the chrome ones. I purchased those for $15. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, so my actual performance section, again, this includes interior stuff, aesthetic stuff on the outside, tuning, my coilovers, kind of like, because I haven't done a whole lot to the car, I kind of all just grouped it into one, to be honest. So I've spent $809 in performance parts. Let's move on to maintenance. This is kind of just the everyday run-of-the-mill, what you spend on maintenance stuff and what I spend on maintenance stuff. Now, like I said, I've had the car for a year and a half, and I've put 27,000 miles on it in that time span. So that's it for maintenance costs, but unfortunately that leaves us with only one category left, and this is the category I want to spend the most amount of time on, because if you're looking to buy this car, this is where I would say be careful and be wary, because I have had a lot of things break on this car, and I realize it's higher mileage. Like, I get it, I realize it's not a new car, it's 120,000 miles when I bought it, 147 now, but I've had some serious problems with the car since I purchased it as far as failures. So this is the stuff that you should know before you buy this car, so that you're aware of what's coming, like you're aware of the potential of what's coming. The first thing that went wrong, I had the car for about 8 months before anything went wrong, but the first thing that went wrong is my rear diff went out, my rear differential. When the fluid came out, like metal shavings came out, so done. Rear diff, $700. I had a buddy of mine who owns and runs a local shop that I trust, and a lot of my friends trust, do all the work for me, because that's just, like, I probably could have done it. It's just a lot of work, and it's just a lot of time that I didn't have at the time. I purchased a used rear diff from a junkyard in Miami, had it shipped up here to the shop. He went ahead and put it in for me, and yeah, it cost $700 for the new rear diff. So that was the first blow. One of my wheel bearings went bad, so yeah, my back left wheel bearing went bad, so my same guy went ahead and took care of it, my buddy Eric at EPR Automotive. Went ahead and took care of it. Paid $300 to him to do my wheel bearing. So that was wheel bearing. So we're already up to 1,000 if you're not counting, or if you are counting. We're already at 1,000 failures. So about 3 months went by from here. And then I started having problems with my clutch where my pedal would stick. And eventually about 2 weeks after starting to stick, the clutch started slipping. Now, if you remember earlier in the video, I mentioned that when I bought the car, I had a new clutch. Is why I didn't really understand what was going on. But basically, long story short, the dealership that I purchased the car from put the new clutch in, but they cheaped out, bought an eBay clutch. It was like some brand, some eBay brand I've never heard of. Obviously, the clutch that you want, at least OEM, is XED. A lot of guys go with the stage, like the different stages of clutches and stuff, but we're talking OEM. So I thought I had an OEM clutch in it. They put an eBay clutch in it, and one of the fingers on the pressure plate popped off. So the clutch started to go. And this is, again, 3 months after I had just spent $1,000 on those two other things, so I had literally no money for this. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have to do it myself. Pulled the engine out myself with the help of my brother and some other people, like some of my other friends that helped me out. Got a new XED clutch, everything, throw-out bearing, like like pressure plate, clutch disc, throw-out bearing, the whole deal, XED. Put it in there, boom, 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 got it all set. Put it back in the car, dropped it in. Yeah, so a new clutch was in. I don't deliver myself, so I only paid for the actual clutch components, which was $300. Yep, so the XED clutch, OEM clutch, $300. It was still $300, so this was still kind of a blow, kind of a strike, but $300, up and running, good for another month. And then I was out driving and my clutch went straight to the floor, and I went through this long process of about a month or two to try and diagnose what the problem was, because I did not want to pay any more money to my boy. I didn't want to pay any more money to the shop for them to look at it, because I just was already out so much money on this kind of stuff. Tried so many different things, could not figure it out. Finally took it back in, and my buddy Eric, who owns and runs the shop, gave me a call and let me know that my clutch fork, which obviously if you know about cars, you've got your slave cylinder and your fork, and when you shift it pushes it in to disengage the clutch, had shattered. So somewhere along the line, I didn't do anything wrong. I think the only mistake that I made is maybe not replacing the fork when I did the full clutch. That might be a rookie move. Basically it shattered, went down through the boot where it comes out, where it comes out where it is here. Shattered, metal shavings went down, absolutely just annihilated the clutch, all the work I had just done. And at that point, it was at the shop, so I just had to have them do it, because one, I was too broken to do it myself again. I couldn't imagine going through all that and doing it myself again, and two, I couldn't drive it. $1,200. That also included 2 axle seals that were near the transmission side axle seals. So $1,200 all in, like everything out the door. So I appreciate that. So yeah, so that was my second clutch. So, and like I said, that included axle seals, so it was a little bit more. In the midst of trying to diagnose what the problem was with my clutch, I replaced my master cylinder and my slave cylinder. And I paid $50 for each of those on eBay. I got them used, so that's $100, and you know, master and slave cylinder, trying to replace that. So those are all the things that those are replaced. I don't know if they ever actually failed, but I just replaced them to be safe, and because I thought at one point it might be the problem with my pedal sticking before I discovered it was the fork. Okay, so my actual costs and failures, like things that have gone wrong in the car. Keep in mind this is in a year and a half, so 1 year, 1.5 years, 1 year, like 17 months. I have spent $2,600 in repairs of things that have gone wrong, which is insane. I want to make sure for anyone who's watching this video that's thinking about buying a WRX or an STI that you understand that there are other costs that are going to come along with this car. There are other costs in maintenance, there's other costs in failures. It's not like a simple car. Stuff happens, it's just the way that it is. Like, I understand as much as anyone else that sometimes stuff just happens that you just have to replace. The WRX is a bit of a tough one when it comes to this. You should expect some failures and things that go wrong. Some things that you're going to have to replace, especially when you get up over 100,000 miles. Like I mentioned before, the main reason I want to make this video is so that if someone is thinking about buying a WRX or someone's thinking about buying an STI, really any generation, not just the one that I have, that you're aware of some of the costs that are going to go into it. That it's not just like a Honda or like Toyota or like a super reliable Japanese car, but there's a little bit more complications that come with it. And I think that's just the nature of owning a turbo Subaru, you know, like it just kind of comes with it. I didn't fully grasp that when I bought the car, but now I do. As always, thank you so much for supporting me and checking this video out. I hope that you really enjoyed it. I hope that it helped somebody who's looking at a WRX or someone who owns a WRX. Either kind of gave them more information about what it's been like, at least for me. Again, this is just my personal opinion. This is my personal ownership story. This is not me trying to tell you what to do or tell you to buy one or tell you not to buy one or tell you anything really. This is literally just me sharing my story of what I've had to spend and kind of what I've gone through with my car. So really hope that you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for checking it out. Go ahead and like and subscribe and support me. I'll see you guys around for any future videos and for what's next. So peace.